have a desire to be liked? To be liked. Do you have this great desire to be liked and to please other people? Raise your hand kung nakaka-relate dun. Diba? Comment down there kung nakaka-relate dun. I'm sure we all do have that desire. And truth be told, that's something I've also been struggling with. Siguro sa mga teachers na, lalo na yung mga first year teachers, we call this the fantasy stage. And for someone as old as me, dapat wala na ako sa fantasy stage eh. But we sometimes go back to that, no? As with any cycle in our lives, when we go through grief, we go through challenge, we go through pain, cycle eh. Ibig sabihin ng cycle, bilog, di ba? Bumabalik at bumabalik tayo minsan sa stage 1, step 1. And the past few days, as we continue to keep safe at home, and we're all trying to find creative ways, di ba? To sustain our careers, our ministries. Syempre, using the online platform is one useful and effective way by which I can reach out to people. Pero ito yun eh. Ito yung totoo, atin-atin lang. There were days, parang iniisip ko, may nanonood ba? Diba? At yung pumasok sa utak ko ito sometimes I feel like a stranger in my own land. Ay, hugot, grabe. I feel like a stranger in my own land. What does that mean? Diba? Don't you ever sometimes feel that you are a stranger to the people who are closest to you? Diba? Maybe certain friends or certain people in your field. Sometimes you feel like, oh, I don't feel supported. I don't feel like they care. No? So should I even care about what I'm doing? Am I still doing the right thing? And sometimes the people whose hearts you want to move and you want to change and you want to help, they fall on deaf ears. Deadma. Scene zone. I don't care. And I realized the more you actually want to do good and create value, the more there's going to be a resistance. And the more there's going to be, an opposing force that will tell you, nah, no one cares. No one's listening to you. Oh, you're not popular. Who are you? Who are you to tell me this and that? Diba? Lakas eh. There is a strong force that's discouraging us. I remember I talked to one of my seminarian friends, and he said something really beautiful I'll never forget. And he said, Yumi, pag may force na lumalaban na ganyan, you must be doing something good. You must be doing something good. Because you know that there are two forces, right? One that's saying, be my vessel, be my instrument, continue to do good because I need you, I need your help. And that's the voice of our good Lord. And there's always that voice, just shrugging his shoulders and saying, ay, not good enough. Ay, wala makikinig sa'yo. And it brings us back to our past, diba? Our traumas when we were a kid, our own self-doubt, our own poor self-image. Mabalik yan eh. And sometimes, we allow that voice, diba? We allow that voice of discouragement, that small voice, that small-mindedness to actually overpower us. And this morning, as I got out of bed, and syempre a part of us, whenever we wake up in the morning, there are some people who naturally wake up with so much exuberance and zest. And there are days, like this morning, I was dragging myself out of bed. Who's gonna listen to me? What good am I gonna add to this world? There are just so many, let the other people do it, or let other people talk in my behalf. There's that voice in our head that sometimes we allow to speak. I am reminded that not only do I have to check every now and then whose voice I'm listening to, whose voice I'm allowing to take control of my actions, but I'm also reminded of the value of community. Diba? I mean, if you do it alone, and I'm used to doing things alone, only child, control freak sometimes, type A personality, I'm used to doing things on my own, that's fine. But when you work with a community, essentially when you're working alone, you're looking at a mirror and all you see is yourself. And you will always see the same flaws, you will always see the same wrongs and the same mistakes. And you'll also sometimes inflate, diba, or overemphasize your galing, it's the same thing eh, because it's you looking at yourself. But if you allow other people to be your mirror, you set aside that piece of glass, that piece of mirror, and you allow people to see you the way you are, they are the best mirrors for you because they can be true to you. And this is given that you are in a loving community, a community that seeks inspiration also from the right source, the right voice, diba? God Himself. Yes, we all have a desire to be liked and to be accepted and to please. And sometimes we are discouraged by, being a stranger in our own lands. But maybe it's time. It's time for us to get out of that small patch of land. Maybe there are people outside of that fence who actually can't wait to hear from you. They because they're meeting you for the first time, they can set aside their biases, they can set aside whatever preconceived notion they have of you. Because yun nga, minsan yun yung ating hindrance, no? When we know someone too much, kilala ko na yan si Yumi, alam ko na yung sasabihin yan. Sometimes, that becomes a hindrance, eh? The people who think they know us already, diba? But if we welcome new people, especially people who are from different walks of life, different professions, different ages, different, diba, mix of men and women, wow, you will realize things about yourself that maybe you have forgotten, or maybe a fresh take of who you are. No? You allow the community now to become your mirror. This is just a little bit of me, vulnerable me, truthful me, letting you know that, the struggle is real. The struggle is real to be liked, to please, to want to be affirmed. But it's good to ask, whose voice am I listening to, and what kind of mirror am I allowing myself to look at each day? Is it the mirror of me, just me, or am I allowing other people I love and trust, like a community, to allow them to be a mirror for me? And also, checking yourself. Why am I doing this? Diba? Why? Is it really for the praise? Of course, everybody wants to be assured that they're doing a good job, but is that it? Is that the end goal? Diba? Hopefully, the higher goal, the higher ideal is really to be a channel, to be an instrument of God's will for each and every one of us. Kanya-kanya tayong karism eh. Kanya-kanya tayong biyaya.